If I throw this buzz in the water, I'm not even gonna do an outro. The video is just gonna end here. What is up, disc golfers? Today on Iceberg TV, I've got an ESP Buzz and a Z Plastic Meteor, this old factory dyed one. So we're gonna be comparing these two mid-ranges today. We're at Eastway Park. I'm gonna play a mixture of the short tees and the long tees, 9-hole round. I wanted to compare these two discs because I thought an ESP Buzz is a little usually on the flippier side as far as buzzes go. And then these Z Plastic Meteors tend to be on the little more stable side for meteors. So I thought these two might be very close in flight, but I want to come out and test that out. And I know this is Brodie's favorite mid, and I know this is Paul's favorite mid, so I thought it'd be fun to compare the two. But anyway, let's get after it. So that buzz is nice and straight. Probably a little bit straighter than I thought it was gonna be. And you guys will have to let me know in the comments below, Team Buzz or Team Meteor. All right, this one's for old Brodie. Okay, so a touch more flip. And that had all the juice to get to the pin if it doesn't hit that tree. It looks like it might go a little farther than the buzz. I'm actually excited to see how that meteor is gonna be because that was a really nice flight. All right, so I've been moving all weekend long. Haven't had a ton of time to make videos. My dad got a video out to you guys, and I got a quick video out with those new Prodigy discs. But I hope to get back at it this week. We're pretty much 99% moved over to the new spot now. So hopefully we can get back to uploading 4 or 5 days a week like I like to. All right, hole 2, we're gonna go with the long tee again. We'll go ESP Buzz, and then we'll go Big Z Meteor. It's got a little bit of stability for sure at the end of the flight. Whew, barely cleared the OB, threw it a little bit nose up. I think this Meteor is gonna go quite a bit farther. So far I'm liking the Meteor way better. Brodie, you might be onto something. One thing that I find really funny, especially more early on in the Brodie-Paul beef situation, was that Brodie and Paul would never bag a disc from the other person's bag, even if that disc would make them a better player. Like, you'll never really see Paul throwing a Meteor, and up until the Vulture, you would never see their name on the same disc. But up until these recent Vultures they came out with, like, their bags were like, if Paul bagged it, Brodie did not bag it, and vice versa. And I thought that was so funny because I always was wondering, like, why doesn't Brodie throw a Buzz? And why doesn't Paul throw a Meteor? Or why doesn't Brodie throw a Force? Like, Brodie's a power thrower. Why is he not throwing Forces? Or why doesn't Paul throw a Nuke? It's just really weird to me how these guys don't really have that overlap. And I'm hoping after, now that we saw Paul McBeth come out with a Vulture, and obviously Brodie's a big fan of the Vulture, hopefully start seeing some more collaboration and some more overlap in these guys' bags. All right, we're gonna play from the Meteor. This is still a crush to get to the basket. Slightly uphill, probably 340. Oh, it slipped. All right, the tee shot on hole 3, you definitely want to fade a little bit to the left. So I think this one might line up better for the Buzz, but there's only one way to truly find out. So I'm throwing on hyzer. Obviously that Buzz is gonna hold the hyzer. What I'm curious about is if I throw this Meteor on hyzer, is it gonna flip and turn, or is it gonna just hold the hyzer? Because I feel like this is an important shot for your go-to mid-range. I love that flight though. It didn't stay on hyzer the whole way. It flipped up and pushed straight for quite a ways. But you very rarely see discs that are gonna flip up in hyzer and go that straight. But for this shot, I would say the Buzz was better. Would Paul be better off if he had a Meteor in his bag? Or would Brodie be better off if he had a Buzz in his bag? But instead, these guys are throwing various runs to get different desired flights when they could just throw a different stock disc and get the result they're looking for without having to look for a specific run to get the flight that they're looking for. All right, the buzz landed in a pretty good spot. Now we need to hit this gap and drift over to the right a little bit. Oh. So you want to hit it straight, and then that buzz obviously has that reliable fade at the end. I kicked right under the basket. But the buzz just has that little bit of late stability, and that meteor just has that little bit of flip up. And I think overall, the buzz might be a better like pro level mid-range, but for an amateur player, or you know, someone like me who doesn't play tournaments anymore, the meteor is way more fun to throw because you can get more different types of shot shapes out of it. All right, my heart is pounding, throwing over water, hole 5, wet tee pad nonetheless. Well, guys, that's gonna do it. The meteor wins the battle. If you ever come play Eastway, hole 5, if you just go in there, there's a Courtney Cannon ESP buzz waiting for you. So the meteor landed right here. This is actually a tough basket to access because you gotta hit this gap. So you hit the gap here and then you fade. So getting in the circle with the mid-range is pretty good on this hole. All right, I just pulled up to hole 6's tee pad here, getting ready for the perfect meteor hole, and I find this hat on the ground. Berg. So, I don't know. You guys tell me. What's that supposed to mean? Is that a sign? So all we have left is a meteor. I kind of like the meteor better anyway. Get off. Oh, that meteor flips up so nicely. The problem with that shot is I made the gap smaller by kind of running up the wrong way. When you want to throw on hyzer, you want to just kind of move straight towards your line, especially when your hyzer flip up a gap. You're going to make that gap as big as possible. I should have thrown that from over here and just gone straight up the meat of the gap instead of trying to like be fancy and shape it through. When you have first available, you just play the short tee. Oh! I thought I had no chance. It almost skipped in. So my first time ever coming to Eastway. This rec center is sick, by the way, if you've never been there, if you live in the area. The rec center is really nice. But my first time ever coming here, I came out, I was super nervous, pulling up to my first Charlotte league, and Paige and Grady Shue were just chilling. So I like kind of bumped into them and just said hello, but I thought that was pretty cool. Like, how much of a Charlotte disc golf experience is that? It's like your first time coming up to a league and you just like bump into two like famous and well-known players, and Paige being a world champ, like that was super cool. My first ever league in Charlotte. It's like the most Charlotte disc golf thing that can possibly happen to somebody, is just bump into a world champ at your first time out. All right, hole 7 is a tough shot for a backhand. It's a pretty easy stock forehand, just chuck it up and let it fade to the right. But this backhand is really tough. I'm gonna have to hit this on a touch of Annie, I think. Oh, that's really good. Get through. If we look back at the gap here, the tee is in here. So you have to hit this gap and then kind of break to the right to get access to this green. But anytime you can get a backhand into the circle, it's a super good shot. And this is where Eastway Park, you can go and play the rest of the course for the 18-hole loop, or you can play 8 short, which is 2 little dinkers over to the left. Today, we don't have a ton of time, so we're gonna go play the 2 shorties to the left, and then we'll close out the video. Skip up. Parked it, but I had a 0% chance of acing. Oh! That had the most insane flip up. It's a pretty strong headwind. All right, guys, I know we got a little off topic with today's video. It's getting pretty windy. The forecast was rain, so I was able to hopefully get out and beat the rain after we wrap this up. Meteor versus buzz. My buzz is in the drink, so I have to say that meteor is the winner. But all jokes aside, the buzz has a little bit more overstable finish than the meteor. But if you're someone with a lower arm speed, someone who likes throwing hyzer flips, turnovers, or maybe you're a backhand dominant player and you want to get more shots out of your mid-range, that meteor is probably going to be a better option for you. But if you just don't like the feel of the Meteor and you're just a die-hard buzz guy, then I would recommend checking out like a Pro D or an X plastic buzz to go alongside your ESP buzz. And those two versions or runs of the buzz are gonna be way more understable. They'll have a much more similar flight to the Meteor. But anyway, rest in peace, ESP Courtney Cannon buzz. If you wanna go in the water, I'm not getting it. It's all yours. Go get after it, get yourself an ESP buzz. You're watching Iceberg TV. Thank you so much for watching my channel. I really appreciate it. I'm almost moved over, so once Google Fiber gets their act together, I'll be back to regularly uploading content again. So yeah, I really appreciate you guys for watching my channel. It means the world to me as always. You're watching Iceberg TV, and take care.